Hey team, good morning. Hope you're all doing well. I got a great question from Eric Naylor, 1576, who asked me, he left a comment on the how fast should you run on Easy Days video that I made. And he said, would love to get your opinion on cross training and how to build into supplement volume. I've been injured for 6 months without being able to train. So I've been doing a ton of stair climber, elliptical, uphill treadmill, and biking. Now that I'm getting back to full health, I feel like my cardio has never been better, and I can't help but think there's a permanent place for this in my training. Yes, absolutely. Cross training was a huge part of my own training over the years. I think there is certainly a place for this and can only add to your aerobic build as you're building your base, as well as even during your specific racing preparation. If you're training for a 5K, 10K, half marathon, or marathon. I spent a lot of years myself training on elliptical training, doing a lot of elliptical workouts, treadmill training, of course, getting off the roads, and there's certainly a place for and time for getting indoors, doing some treadmill training. Whether I really like doing the types of treadmills that are not electric treadmills, but the ones that you have to propel yourself. And a lot of those are like curved treadmills. I think are awesome cross-training tools that a lot of runners can use. They're not always easy to find. You can obviously purchase one. A curved treadmill is definitely very expensive, so if you're going to do that, be aware of the cost. But that being said, they're not the type of treadmills that are going to break down either, because you're the one that's propelling them. But another cross-training tip that I want to share with all of you, especially if you're feeling injured or you just want to try something new and you want to get off the roads and off the track, is pool running. Aqua jogging, it's also known as aqua jogging. But if you get in the deep end of a pool and you don't wear a flotation device, the water pressure is a huge anaerobic stressor on the body, because again, you're forcing yourself to pump your arms, pump your legs, and to really focus on your form. If you're not wearing a flotation device, absolutely, it's a very hard workout. But again, there's no stresses on the ligaments, tendons, muscles of the body, versus and no impact. Okay, versus training on pavement, concrete, doing workouts on the track. You have to be aware of just the benefits of cross training versus just training hard all the time. Okay, there is a place where if you do a proper mixture of both aerobic training, building your aerobic base of mileage, you can still do cross training on top of that and not really add any additional huge amount of fatigue and stress on the body. Definitely, as I mentioned in other videos, continually track how much sleep you're getting, the amount of hydration that you're giving yourself each day, because again, this is not an easy sport. I mean, if you're really trying to get to the next level as a middle to long distance runner, you have to make sure that you are paying attention to your recovery, and that's where really sleep and hydration and eating the proper foods comes into play. But I'm glad to hear, Eric, that you're getting a lot of benefits from doing cross training. I think what you mentioned here, uphill training, biking, elliptical, stair climber, all that definitely will add to your aerobic and anaerobic preparation. And I certainly think that cross training is huge. It is, I personally used it myself over the years, and I think that it helped me as a middle to long distance runner get to the next level in my own racing. So as I mentioned, there's a lot of runners that don't always pay attention to pool running. And I think outside of, and as you mentioned too, elliptical is huge. Rowing is one of the very best cross-training workouts you're going to get, period. I think rowing, again, if you want to add some cross-training into your weekly routine, do some rowing, do some elliptical, do some stair climber, like you mentioned, pool running if you got access to a gym, or you're near to a pool, get in the deep end of a pool. You can also wear a flotation device too, and if that really is helpful too, especially if you're doing long runs in the deep end of a pool, it's very boring, But if you want to just to mix it up, getting in the deep end of the pool, wear a flotation device, that'll help you maintain your form, and you just focus on running, you still have the water pressure, but pumping your arms, pumping your legs, it's much, much easier to do a long run, 2.5 hour long run in the, a 12 foot portion of the pool with the flotation device. If you want to make it much harder, you want to do some fartlek training, maybe do some like 1 times 1 minute hard, 1 minute easy, where you're really pumping your arms hard, pumping your legs hard without a flotation device. Get in the deep end of the pool, do that. Okay, there's so many different ways of doing this. You can do repeat reps, by minutes. Maybe 10 times 3 minutes hard, 10 minutes or followed by 3 minutes easy. So you do some fartlek sessions. Harder long runs, harder tempo runs in the deep end of the pool by doing pool running. As you mentioned too, elliptical, stair climbers, uphill treadmills. Uphill treadmill, I think that's you're talking more so with some hills in there, throwing that in there, that's huge. I think in terms of the cross training, as I mentioned before, if you really want to invest in yourself and in your long-term preparation, getting a curved treadmill, and there are some great curved treadmills out there. I'll leave the links to some of those below if you're interested. I'm a huge advocate of those because, again, you're the one that's propelling those treadmills. And they don't break down like a motorized treadmill, electric treadmill, and obviously they will not increase your electric bill using those as well. But there's some of the very best treadmills that middle to long distance runners can train on. So I'm a big believer in those, and then the what do they call them? Ultra G treadmills. I think that's the name of it, but it's like those types of treadmills that will kind of lift you up a little bit, so you're not stressing yourself so much. It helps you to recover a little bit better versus just running on a regular treadmill. And again, don't think that. And as you see with Eric, he's gotten some great results by training on treadmills. Some of the world's top distance runners train on these. So it's not like you're not getting as much of a workout by training on a treadmill versus running outdoors. Of course, nothing beats training over hillier terrain outdoors or doing track workouts. There's nothing that's going to equal that because you do have wind resistance out there. It doesn't feel as natural at times training on a treadmill, but there's sometimes where if it's super hot out, if it's 100 plus degrees and you have a tempo run and you really want to get not only psychologically, but you want to be able to get out there and put in the tempo run at your specific pace that you're aiming for per kilometer or per mile, it's much easier and sometimes working smarter by getting indoors. If you have to, put the treadmill at 0.5% or 1% so that, again, it equals running outdoors with the wind resistance. But don't think even if you're just running on a treadmill at 0% incline, you're not getting any benefit from that. You still are getting benefit. But remember, too, if you're running at 0%, if your goal was to aim for a 7-minute mile pace, if you're running at 0%, you're really running around 7:08 to 7:10 mile pace, or the equivalent in kilometer pace. So just be aware of that. But again, it's still a great workout. Your cross training still is a vital tool to a lot of middle to long distance runners that really get involved in. And the world's best distance runners, middle distance runners, cross training. It's huge. So definitely there's a place for this. So I hope that answered your question, Eric. Again, I've used it myself. I've done all of those, stair climbers, ellipticals, trained on treadmills. Pool running was huge. Cycling, all of those, as you mentioned too, are definitely ways for you to get to the next level as a middle to long distance runner. It's really all putting all of the pieces together, being patient with the process, not knowing that phenomenal results in this sport takes several months, and in most cases it takes years and sometimes even decades. So it's just a matter of being persistent, patient enough, and enjoying the process, not losing any enthusiasm for what you're doing, but also implementing these. You don't, in the place of a hard workout, do a cross-training workout. Sometimes you can still sprinkle some cross training in the middle of very hard training, very hard workouts, very hard weeks of training, so that you get massive benefits as long as you're paying attention to your recovery. Jog on recovery days. I can't stress it enough. Do not get hyped up on what pace per mile or pace per kilometer you're running during your easy days. They're easy for a reason. Jog on those easy days so that you can recover and really hammer the hard days. If you got track sessions, hard VO2 max workouts, hard anaerobic threshold runs, hill repetitions, focus on those days. Those are the days to really hammer, to really stress the energy systems of the body. Back off on easy days so you can continue to do these types of cross-training workouts on top of doing other harder anaerobic and AT tempo runs, okay? Hope that was helpful for all of you. Thank you so much for your support. Thanks for liking and sharing my videos. Check out the resources below or on RunDreamAchieve.com if you're ready to take your training and racing to the next level. And I will talk to you all in the next video.